have you convinced that I can play the theme music?
He's the chair of the Quapaw Nation.
I'm serenading her. I haven't quite learned Careless Whisper yet, but that's my goal is to play this. Well, we're setting the tone right off the bat. We are honored today to be joined by Quapaw Nation Business Committee Chair.
Let's give her a
Wena
hand.
Supernaw.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, welcome to Where the Buffalo Roam. We call it that because we never know where we're going to roam, what we're going to talk about, and we're
usually in the wrong pasture.
That's right. Hopefully we don't roam off a cliff, but we were able to do that because of one of our great sponsors, Bet Saracen and Saracen Casino Resort. Bet Saracen, of course, the #1 Arkansas mobile sports app wagering platform, and that's for our friends in Arkansas. You have to be in Arkansas to play, but we all know in this part of the country we go down to Pinnacle Hills on the weekend. Arkansas, of course, got some wonderful trails to hike. We end up down there. So next time you're down there, check out Bet Saracen. All kinds of great deals on there. First time sign up deals, all kinds of stuff. And if you have a gambling problem, of course, we want you to get help. So please call our 24-hour confidential national hotline, 1-800-522-4700. Again, 1-800-522-4700. That is if you've got a problem. We certainly don't condone that. But thank you, Bet Saracen, for supporting Where the Buffalo Roam.
Yeah, and then just to anybody watching this, maybe Rick Mercer, shout out.
Shout out Rick Mercer.
Great.
Every time I see him, he comes up and says he loves the show. So that's for you, Rick.
Maybe just go down there and see Saracen, because Saracen is absolutely gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
It is a gorgeous casino if I've ever seen one.
Well, and even Pine Bluff and Jefferson County are beautiful. Really beautiful.
Absolutely. I mean, they call it the natural state for an obvious reason. It's wonderful. But, well, let's get into it. We have so much to talk about in Quapaw Nation. Did you grow? You're
I did.
taller.
You guys gave me a taller chair. This is great.
Well, let's get into it. Here a while back, we have our meetings. As an executive director, I meet with the business committee. And we're all the time trying to figure out better ways to communicate with tribal members and get our message out. It feels like everything moves so quickly around here that sometimes I think that...
And technology is constantly changing, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing.
The direct connection to tribal members sometimes, inadvertently gets lost. So, of course, we put out, send your questions to Quapaw Nation. And we got a really, really good, fascinating one that you go, yeah, you know what? I've never thought about that. That is a great question, and it was essentially how the Quapaw Nation government works. And I thought we would have a little bit of, what do they call it in school? History,
but bringing your parent day.
No.
Hey.
Yeah, she is the adult in the room, but what do they call it? Civics. We'll have a little bit of Quapaw Nation civics with Quapaw Nation Business Chair.
Better, but
yeah. It's okay. Wena Supernaw. Well, first of all, thanks for coming on the show.
Oh, I'm so glad to be here. And you're right about changes in technology, because the way that people want to consume information is really changing rapidly on us. The way that your kids and your daughter consumes information is completely different than the means that we had back when I was growing up. So,
and we got to reach both.
Yeah, exactly. All ages. So this is a great medium, a way to get information out.
Yeah,
so
we get to speak directly to tribal members, and people get to know you, because I think maybe sometimes they only maybe get to see you in business committee meetings, and there's so much going on in those meetings that we don't really have a chance to just sit down and talk about what's going on with the nation and be able to speak to them directly.
Right. So as far as the civics lesson 101 is, we have to go back to our foundational formation document. And of course, that's the 1956 governing resolution, as amended many, many times up through 2023. So, all we can do is talk right now. We can talk about the way it works today. But what I really wanted to talk about was how it operates today. Because it may be changing on us pretty rapidly. But in that document, that is, as amended, that document really calls for 3 standing committees. And that's the Business Committee, the Grievance Committee, as well as now the Ethics Commission. They are all directly accountable to General Counsel, the Quapaw tribal members. And they get to decide, how those committees operate and what they do and their authorities and the boundaries of their authorities, because that's really important. And then the business committee, basically, when I came into office 3.5 years ago, there was a single individual that over 20 people in the Quapaw Nation reported directly to, all the way from the marshals, fire EMS,
Wow.
the courts, social services, forestry, environmental,
Yeah.
QSA.
You were
They all
the big
reported.
the push for that.
Exactly. They all reported to a single individual. And quite frankly, I was astounded because no single individual has the breadth to cover that many deep topics.
Yeah.
And we also saw there was an incredible amount of talent within the Quapaw Nation government, and we wanted to bring that talent really forward. And so we reorganized, and so that's why we don't have a tribal administrator anymore.
Oh,
We
okay.
broke up a variety of areas so that we've got really George Valuers over there running Department of Public Safety, which includes the marshals, fire, EMS, courts, Quapaw Counseling Services, and I'm sure I'm missing some, my apologies. Then we got O-Gah-Pah Communications. You guys report directly to the business committee.
Which is funny because when you came in, I still remember that meeting. I don't know if you remember that meeting or not, but you kind of were getting to know what all the different departments did. And about 64 line items in, I remember you just kind of like looked at me like, why do you do all this? Or why, like, and it just comes down to the fact that it's not going to get done. You know, somebody's got to do it, I think was the gist of the conversation. But I felt like we weren't the only ones that day that you were like just mind
There's
kind of
so
blown
much.
Exactly.
on so much going every single day.
Like what he does. We kind of have like this running joke about how long his brief statement is going to be during the
I tell you, Trenton's got a definition is 5 minutes.
but he has so much underneath him.
He does.
I mean, there's
really
a
does.
lot of weight to each of the executive directors. So imagining one person handling all of that, I mean, I get where you were going with that. It's crazy. Can you break down kind of what you and I know what general counsel is? But maybe there's some tribal members out there that are at home that don't understand
Who it is, what it means.
that is.
You know.
So let's be really clear. General counsel, COUNCIL, okay, not to be confused with counsel, SEL, which are the
Okay.
lawyers, okay? So let's make sure we're talking about general counsel.
Great point. Excellent point.
It's basically all enrolled tribal members 18 and above. So they have the opportunity to not only participate in general counsel meetings, and in those, the 4th of July one anyway, that's a rare and a precious opportunity for tribal members to put their own motions forward. And we see that, you know, every 4th of July during open forum. And that's the only occasion where individual tribal members, all enrolled tribal members, 18 and above, plus Quapaw blood voters, have the opportunity to put motions forward.
And that's where we seat the grievance committee. That's where we seat the ethics commission, the tribal princess powwow or powwow princess. No, I think the princess, just
the tribal
princess.
princess and the junior tribal princess.
But there's so much that happens at general council. It's really important. If you're 18 and above, come to general council.
Please.
It is a place for you to have your voice. I think that every tribal member
And
should
it is, you know, there is some kind of contentiousness that goes on that day, but it is really great to see the gathering of everybody that you don't see the rest of the year all in one place and getting to catch up and talk and find out about
There's so much
other family and
information.
just
at a general council.
Well, and that's where the audited financials get presented, and this upcoming 4th of July will be showing a draft budget to general council. We won't approve it that day, but at least for folks to gain a better understanding of how those precious dollars are really spent. So that's ultimately what the business committee is accountable for, is making sure that we're utilizing our resources to the highest and best use that we possibly can all the time. You know, whether it's dollars, whether it's land, whether it's economic development, because that's why we exist. It's to serve tribal members, and you know, those that preceded us, they paved a path for us, and it is our job, our responsibility to make sure that path is cleared for those who come behind us. And I think everybody on the business committee takes that gift and that promise very, very seriously.
being the best stewards of everything we've got for the future generations and everybody that's come before us. So you're entering your fourth year, I guess, right? 3.5, 4.
Yeah.
So you talked about being kind of astounded about some of those meetings. Is there anything else that kind of sticks in your head that you maybe had a notion of before you were elected, then you got in here, you're like, oh, I was way off on that, or
We do not have enough time to cover all that. So when I came into office, and that was 3.5 years ago, what was really, really good, I think for me, because I was never a tribal employee, so I was still, really green at that point, was, you can look at websites, you could read reports, and you can be as educated as possible, but until you get on the ground and interacting with the individuals who are running the processing plant or running the cattle company and seeing the bison herd and how split up everything is. And it's, our resources are kind of a patchwork. And then obviously the remediation work going on in Tar Creek Superfund site. But until you get on the ground and really start interacting with people, you don't realize the depth of really the delivery, whether it's environmental, air, water, land testing for heavy metals, and all the other activities that take place that do things like run our social services so that, we can deliver on that promise of those wonderful utility services that we have. We're blessed to be able to provide those services to our tribal members, no matter where they reside. I was blown away. It wasn't in one area. It was at least in 20 different areas. It's like, wow, we don't do a single thing. We do a whole multitude of things that's more similar to what a state, a county, a city, plus all those social services really do. It's a combination of all the above.
And the cultural elements to it and all that. And that's, John and I are in a really lucky spot with this spot right here with our show, because there's so many people we can talk to, and so we're never going to run out of people to have in this chair.
Very true.
or things to talk about, because it's ever changing. Like we were talking about technology, and the political climate's changing in the state of Oklahoma and the surrounding states. So there's always something to talk about with this. So
looking at let's, as a tribal member, let's step out of your current seat right now.
Sure.
5 years from now, 10 years from now, where do you want to see the Quapaw Nation?
So it's all about three things. It's job creation. It's increasing social services and adding new programs to it. And number three, it's public safety. To me, it always boils down to those things, plus obviously managing our natural resources here within the Quapaw Reservation and serving our community in a whole multitude of ways. But if I could just kind of put a thumbprint on it, it's basically getting those social services increased and adding new programs to help our tribal members. And you know what? We're finally on the precipice of being able to do that. One of the things that our biggest deterrent to increasing, tribal member services has been that heavy debt load. We can see the end of that in the not so distant future.
The end of the tunnel.
We see a light at the end of the tunnel, and for once, it's not a train, but it is.
But
that's really it. It's simple.
People don't realize how close that is either. For those at home, we are. I don't want to say at the end of the year, but probably within a year away from having.
Well, we're in a good spot.
Our mothership paid
well,
off.
and in fact, we were talking about that this morning when you were talking about purchasing things for kids. Like, I think this generation, gosh, we're going to sound like those people, or sound like the guys outside yelling at the clouds. But kids today, they have it lucky compared to what we have. All these services and all this access to all these things and help and this, that, and the other. We're really lucky. The future is bright. The future is very, very bright
really
for Quapaw
is.
Nation. I think it just
really
continue to get brighter and brighter. How about we save a little for next time?
Alrighty.
All right. Once again, round of applause. Quapaw Nation Business Chair, Wena Supernaw.
Check out next week's episode of Where the Buffalo.